Yay, I think we're live. I think. I think. Yay. Okay, great. I hope everyone had a lovely, lovely Easter. We are going to be making this box and the rose tonight, guys. Hi, Sue. I see Jamie and Gerald and Patty. Give it a couple minutes. We're a couple minutes early and let some people come in. Guys, if you have not submitted your card for last week and for the cutie drawing, make sure you get that in. You got to get it in before 6 p.m. Wednesday. We're going to draw for that sunflower cutie. Thank you, Jamie. All right, we're going to go ahead and play the intro and we're going to get started, guys. All right, yay. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to EJ Prince too. She's doing a couple of little videos over there, and you saw her little splash screen there. If you want a splash screen or your name scroll by, depending on what we have space for, you have to be a YouTube membership on that level. YouTube memberships, Ko-fi supporters, Patreons, greatly appreciate you guys, and of course our moderators. Couldn't do this without you guys either. Thank you so very, very much. I hope you all had a good Easter. Hey, Louise. Hi, Mary. There's Catherine. We should have some more coming in here in a few minutes. You see on your screen, guys, this is a shared file. I have this up on my site, craftingwithapril.co. There's links to it. There's also a PDF file. Let me, as a matter of fact, I'm just going to open that up and show it to you guys. It's called Pink and Green. If I can get it to open for me. Let's see. There it is. So it's called Pink and Green. And when you open it up, yay, new subscriber. Welcome, welcome. When you open it up, you're going to see this green watercolor and this pink watercolor. You're just going to open them up and it's going to open a page that looks like this. It's going to have 2 pages in there. What you're going to do to create your flower, before you cut it, you're going to print these. And this is going to give you the front. Hi, Steve. It's going to give you the front and the back of your copy paper is going to be printed. Okay? And that way, it's kind of like having a solid core or a double-sided paper to work with your flowers. So how you're going to do that? All printers are different, but I'm going to go over and explain how you can do this if your printer does not have a double-sided print. So if I were going to print this, I would just hit Command P or go to your print tab. And if you look right here, I have 2-sided printing. And mine reverts to the last thing I used, and this was the last thing I printed. And that's why there are 2 pages. So if you have double-sided printing, you don't have to do anything except click that box and hit print, and it is going to print on both sides of your paper, whatever size and all of that you choose. You're going to scale to fit, and it's going to print this just like you want. Just digital paper. That's exactly right, Marianne. You've got digital paper. So it's going to print the front, then it's going to suck it back in, and it's going to print the back. But what if you don't have that feature on your printer? You can still do this. You've still got 2 pages. You're just going to print this once, and then you're going to take your paper and you're going to put it back in your paper tray and you're going to print it again. But there's a trick to that. And I'm going to go over and pop over here and show you guys right now. Let's see. There we go. And you can see mine printed. And you don't have to worry about this edge because it's so small that Cricket's not going to cut on that anyway, because when you send it to the mat, you're going to tell it you're cutting on 8.5 by 11 inch paper. Doesn't matter which way you put it on, which side's up or down, it's not going to matter. But you want it to print on both sides. So if your printer does not have that double-sided feature or two-sided feature, open up your paper tray and in the bottom right-hand corner put an X with a pen or a pencil. Doesn't matter, whatever you want to use. Don't even take the paper out of the tray. Just put an X in your bottom right-hand corner. Print your paper for that first page, and then when this comes off the printer, if it comes out of the printer and it printed on the side with the X, you're going to flip that paper over so that you can't see your X and put it back in there and print again. If it prints on the side without the X and your X is showing but there's no ink printed on there, you're going to want to do it the opposite way, okay? And that way your paper picks up. It depends on if your paper picks up this way and rolls around, or if your paper picks up this way and rolls around, or if it just picks it up and brings it through. So if you do the little X, that'll tell you this is how my paper is loaded. This is the bottom right-hand corner of my paper tray. And if it did not print on that, then I need to put that on the bottom so that it prints the right side. That way you're not printing on the same side of the paper twice, okay? And that's all that does. And you can practice that with anything with just a word so you don't waste ink. You can go in and type in your name on a piece of paper and mark your X and then print it, and you can see, and it'll show you how your paper goes through your printer. But there's a pink one, and the green one is just like it, except it's green. It looks identical to this, except it's green, okay? I had a green sheet, but I used it, and then I laid it to the side, and I can't find it now. I think my dog actually got my scrap and ran off with it. So you can do that. There's the green one right there. It's set up exactly the same way. You do exactly the same thing. So then you've printed your paper. And now you're going to put your paper, you're going to send this over to the mat when you hit make it. And you're going to come over and tell it that you're using 8.5 by 11 inch paper or whatever size paper you printed on. Because some of you have wide format printers. I do, but I don't have 12 by 12 copy paper, okay? I do have 11 by 17 legal size, so I could print that and use that in here. So if you want to do that, but 12 by 12 is going to be out for most of you, even though some of us have 12 by 12 printers. Unless you have 12 by 12 copy paper, not going to help. Because the purpose of this flower is to make them inexpensively, especially right now with everybody being laid off work and all of that kind of things. A lot of us have copy paper, and copy paper is very inexpensive. Usually at Walmart you can get a 500 sheets for $3.47, something like that, I want to say. So, tons of stuff that you can do with copy paper, guys. You can print and make your own, and you can cut your flowers. So now that you know how to do that, I'm going to swap over here because we have 2 projects tonight. This one is for everybody, and again, if you go to craftingwithapril.co, the PDF for the pink and green are up there, and this design. So you can get that. It's not gonna, you don't have to join anything, except you do have to register on my site to get the file, but that's it. You don't have to pay any money or anything. Now, I did use some access images in there, so if you don't have access, right here, these two, there may be a charge. There's not going to be a charge for the circle, but there may be a charge for these two. You can swap it out for any leaf you want, okay? Any leaf you want. And you can take another free leaf in there and weld 4 together and get the same piece, okay? So that file's free for you guys. So if you want to go ahead and print some paper and be cutting that while we're putting our box together, because the box is a supporter only file, that'll give you time to do that and get that ready to put together by the time that we get to that. So we're going to make this little box first, and don't pay attention to these are not in the file, guys. I was going to see what Nuvo drops look like on there, and I didn't like the pattern, and when I picked it off, it tore my paper. So I cut some of my scraps off of this and placed it over where it tore my paper. But I'm just saying, this looks better if you don't do anything to it after you make the box. Just leave it be. It looks a lot better. But if you want to go in and add some little triangles and kind of lighten it up to use your paper on, you can do that too. You can just add those to the file. And those are our flowers. They're all cut and ready to go. And if you notice, it's nothing but a circle, and those are going to come out to be this flower. Super easy. One moment, I have. Okay. Bonnie, if you're listening, I'll get with you here in just a little bit. So once you have it cut, super easy, super simple. And it's going to look like this is the bottom. Guys, don't start gluing this together yet. This is actually the top of your box, and this is the bottom. This box does open from the bottom, okay? All right. And that you're going to put your items in there, put your little tissue paper, and then you're going to close it. It does open from the bottom. So what you're going to do, the first thing you're going to do is make sure your little ticks did cut all the way through, because that's what's going to hold your little box closed when it catches on these pieces. And we're going to just fold all of our tabs, mountain fold, or away from you with your, I used the paper from the mystery box. We got a couple of mystery boxes ago. The box file, Judy, is also on the, it's on, if you go to craftingwithapril.co, it's for supporters, and it is there. I put everything on there, including the free file for you. Oh, it's not, it didn't switch. I'm sorry, guys. See if it went, there it goes. I greatly apologize. Sorry. Thank you, guys. But this is the paper from the mystery box from a couple of mystery boxes ago. This is the flower on copy paper. So it makes that rose. If you go, let me just see if I can pull that up really quick. Let's see. If you are new, you're going to have to log in and register. Hopefully you guys do not still have a black screen. OBS crashed on us. Okay, so Yeah. Am I back? Just checking. Let me grab a mod here. Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, it just crashed on us. I felt it coming when it didn't switch over the screen. I had clicked on it and it said it was switched over, but it didn't. So, apologize. Um, this was from the mystery box. I don't know what you guys saw. So, we're going to go back over. Let me just show you before I go back to that. Here's the freebie tab right here, freebies. And here is the flower. This is for everybody, and this will be the tutorial for tonight. If you go to the supporter files, you're going to have to log in. Guys, I hope it's going to let me do this tonight. Okay, hopefully we're back and we have audio again because I don't know what's going on with OBS. It's crashing. They just came out with a new one for Mac, and I am going to work on getting that downloaded before Wednesday and see if we can't get that going. I don't know what's going on with that. But anyway, here's everything for supporters. You've got everything. Okay, right here. Let me close this page. Hopefully that's not what's causing it, an overload. I'm going to close this too, guys, because everything, we don't need that. I'm saying we don't need it. That way I'm not bogging down design space. Whew. Yeah, it just crashed twice. Boom, boom, twice in a row. And that's the paper from the mystery box. You're going to fold all of these tabs away from you. Or mountain folds, whatever you want to call them. This is the bottom of your box. This is the top. I'm just going to go through and give them all a good little press with my bone folder. Try not to break my paper down. This paper did very well with this box. If you're using an inexpensive patterned paper and it cracks, you'll want to either ink your edges or use a solid core for your base. Okay, and before you do anything else at all to your file, you'll see some score lines. Hopefully it'll pick those up. You'll see them. Guys, these are, you're going to have to do these carefully, and you're going to, on that long one, mountain fold it, or the first one. You're just going to mountain fold that, and right here you just want to be careful. You just want to pinch it right up to where you folded it before, okay? Don't worry about it. We'll catch the rest of it later. And then you're going to valley fold right here. Now, if you do not have a maker and you're not using the double scoring wheel, I am going to suggest that you go over your score lines with your Cricut trimmer, okay? Because there is a scoring for your trimmers, and put it in that channel and score over those and make them a little bit deeper. If you have an Air 2 or if you have a scoreboard, use that. It's going to help you later. It's not necessary, but it will help you. It's easier that way. Just saying, it's going to be a little bit easier because this is one of those quirky folds, and it takes a little working with your cardstock to get it where you need it to be. So just fold on your scores, mountain on the first one, and Valley on the inner one. And they don't have to be perfectly creased all the way up to the edges. We'll get there. You just want to work on getting them starting to relax. And then you've got one here and one here. And I found this one easier just to kind of pull that in to help me crease it a little bit. And then you do need to crease the one on your tab. And that first one, again, is a mountain. And the second one, a valley. And then you're going to end up with something, you can just kind of pull it in there, and it's going to give you that little bit to pull in, okay? And then you can pinch this up here as well. Be careful, I just tore mine a little bit right there. I didn't with my first one, so you just be careful and work it slowly. Then you're going to come over to this tab, and this is where you're going to start gluing. And we're just going to put some glue on this one tab right here. I'm just going to bring this in and just fold this over. I'm just going to press that down. Okay, so now your box should look something like this. This is the Anna Griffith paper, Judy. Hey, Andrea. You didn't know about the score thing with the cutter? Yeah, Linda. That's one of the good features about it. And somebody had posted that they didn't know. I cover it on several videos. But you can pull this arm out, too, to keep your 12-inch paper straight while you cut it, or your 8.5. It really helps keep your paper straight when you're cutting or scoring. And then you have the 2 storage spots for extra blades and your scoring tool on the bottom. So now we're going to just kind of work with this, and we're going to fold. You can see how it's trying to take shape as I fold it in. And you may have to fold your tabs back on the bottom just to get it to work with you. But I'm just kind of holding my finger right here at this point and kind of pushing this down. And then I'm pushing down on this side, and then I'm just grabbing it on the inside, if you can see that. Just grabbing it right there on the inside. I'm going to place a little bit of glue just on that portion of the tab. Okay? And then I'm just going to pull this in right on top of it and hold it. It's going to be kind of hard to see, guys. I can't show you the inside and hold it at the same time. But you're just going to hold that down. You want to keep it square and keep it even. Squirt just a tiny bit of glue. I didn't get quite enough glue on that right there. You want it to be sealed really good right here so that it looks good when your box is dried. Yes, Cricut does sell the extra blade and scoring tools. They come in a pack like that. So I'm just holding this while it dries right there in that corner, guys. And you can use your bone folders to go in here and help you crisp that up if you need it. So, but just wait to the end for that. I'm going to pop a little glue right there where I tore my box. Wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. Okay, so then you're going to just kind of peeking in here, okay? Because the way this sits, you can't really do a whole lot with it. And you're just going to glue these 2 tabs, or 3 tabs actually. And then you want to get some glue right here on this part right there. You guys see that? And then we're just going to hold that down, square it up. Make sure it's all good and square. Then I'm just going to flip it over and take my bone folder inside and press it down. Give it a good press. And then we're just going to tuck our tabs and we're going to close our box. That's all there is really to the box except putting on your panels. It's really super easy and super quick. So now you can decide where you want your tabs. I'm probably going to put that one on the top for my flower. You know, just however you want your color for your pattern pieces, and just place them on there. Hopefully not like me, you get them straight and even. This one on the top. Yes, you get the cutie by your name if you join the YouTube channel membership. Okay. And I'm going to put that one on the side. I like to have most of my colors showing. This is going to be great for Mother's Day or birthdays or just that little thank you. I'm going to put that one on the bottom. It doesn't have as much color. Make sure you get your corners. You don't, on these panels, you don't want them flipping off of there. And one more. And that's all there is to the box, guys. The toughest part about it is just working your cardstock and getting that to cooperate with you, just gently, okay? We're going to set that to the side to dry, and we're going to make our flower. So you have all your circles, and then you have your leaves, and guys, you can use wet glue or hot glue. Doesn't matter. I used wet glue on these. So the first thing that you're going to do, and I already did one, is just decide. And I like to go with the darkers to the inside. I put extra petals, guys. I just cut one of these. No, I cut two. I cut two. But there are extra petals. You don't need them all unless you want them all. It depends on how big you want your rose to be, how full you want it to be. But what's in the file will make a good sized rose, okay? And that's totally up to you. It's just going to be the same thing. You're going to keep repeating the same steps that we do tonight. And the more you add around it, of course, the larger it's going to become. You have to be logged in, Andrea. and go to the craftingwithapril.co YouTube channel. Here, let me just grab you this one. This might work. Let's see. There you go. You can try that link. Maybe that will work. So you're just going to grab up a circle, and like I said, I like to go with the dark ones to the center. And so if it's light on one side and dark on the other, because we printed it with the watercolor paper, doesn't matter. I'm just going to put my light to the inside. And I'm just going to roll it around my little tool here. And these were my mom's. I forgot what they're, bead making tools. You can use a skewer. You can use anything that you have. Okay. And you want one to be really tight. And that's all I did was just wind that copy paper around there. And I want this one to be a little bit tight. This is going to be my center. And I think I'm just going to use wet glue. Yay! And you just need a little bit. You don't need a lot. And I'm just going to roll that up and start that center. Now I want this one to be just a little bit looser and almost the same height. You're just going to work with your heights. Okay, so I'm just going to roll it up in there, get it about where I want it. I'm just going to put just a touch of glue. Don't need much, just a touch. I'm just going to glue that in there. I'm giving it some space to kind of look like it's opening up. And then I'm going to put just a touch of glue right there. And I'm going to let it kind of loosen. How tight or how large you make your center is totally up to you. And again, you can use wet glue, you can use hot glue. So that's my center, got it going. Now I'm going to take another petal. I'm just going to, or circle, petal. I'm going to roll it one way, just on one side, and I'm just going to spin it around. So I'm holding the curved piece, and I'm just going to curve this part up. Okay, so I've got that little bend going on there. And where my other petal stopped, I'm going to put that to the inside. And I'm just going to bring this petal just about even with it. A little dot of glue. I'm going to bring that in. Just going to hold it, let that sit. And now where that's starting to curve, and this is why I did the curve, right there where it's starting to curve, that's where I'm going to kind of just roll that over just gently, okay? And it just kind of helps you with the paper. Just going to keep rolling that in and letting it get loose. You can, I'm using my pokey tool here, or paper piercer, or whatever you want to call it. Just give it that little bit of curl right there where that was going. And then I'm just going to glue right here. Just right there at the bottom, just going to hold it for a second. I'm just going to kind of pinch it right there. So I've got just a little bit of this looping out. Push it back a little bit. You're not going to have much of a curl on this part, but it will develop later. You'll see. It may pop in and out of there. That's okay. Now we're going to take another piece. I'm just going to stay with some of my darker ones here. And just going to kind of roll back right there And then I'm going to come over to the other side and roll that too. So we're getting kind of a cone. Okay. Just going to put some glue on each side here. It's a little too much. The more glue you have, the longer it's going to take these pieces to dry. So just kind of do one side at a time. Oops, I got it upside down. Don't do that. I was like, where did the center of my rose go? There we go. I'm just going to pull that out just a little bit. I know the bottom is looking kind of funky, but that's okay. I'm just giving it a little bit of an opening. And time to dry. Now if you don't want your rose to be tall, you can clip off after this next one. But I think I'm gonna probably leave mine, don't know. Again, we're just gonna roll and get that roll going here, and then we're gonna kind of roll this. You're kind of making a like a V, okay, when you make those rolls. And I'm covering, I want the center of this one to cover that opening. So I'm just going to put a little dab of glue there in the center. And I'm just going to place this down and hold it. And you can see how we're starting to get it to open up. It's to make it look like the center is opening. Just a little touch of glue. Again, it's copy paper, so you don't need a ton of glue. You don't want it wet and soggy. And we're just going to push that out. And then that's your center, okay? I think I am going to cut just a tiny bit off, just to straighten it up at the bottom some. And if you want to put hot glue on there, you can. That's all I'm going to do with that one. Then we're going to basically, you want this kind of a shape. Okay? The circles are all cut the same size. They are all exactly the same size. Okay, hurry back, Judy. So to get this shape, all you're going to do, and we're almost done. We don't have but about 5 or 6 petals to add. You're going to roll this back like we were rolling the other one. And then you're going to roll the other side. Again, you're kind of creating that V, and we're starting to use some of our lighter pieces. You can use lighter and darker here, so. And then once you have that, you're going to hold it right here with your curls to the back and just kind of pull that up. Okay? And then right here in the center, we're going to roll that back. Okay, so we're rolled in and we're rolled back, and we have like this little cup. If you can see, I'm pinching it and making that paper kind of pucker up, and that's all that we're going to do to it. Okay, and now we're going to start bringing those and placing that in. And I'm going to switch to hot glue, guys, just for the time purposes. I do prefer the wet glue for these, but and I'm just going to place that petal right there. at the bottom. And then I'm just going to put just a tiny touch. Well, I say I am. There we go. It's a little more than I wanted, but that's okay. I'm just going to kind of start letting that cup. Okay. And then we're going to bring this one in. And don't worry, you can gonna have a chance to rework your petals if you need to. Not a big deal. And you're just going to continue with that same method, just kind of crunching and doing those. And you're going to start rotating and overlapping. The first two I like to go across, so that's what I'm going to do here. I feel like it gives it a more kind of a natural look. Just gonna, right down here at the base, I'm just doing just a little bitty dot of glue. Just enough to hold it. And then I'm just going to fold those petals back. Now we're going to take another one. Same thing. I love the quilling tools too. But with this, using the circles, like I said, not a whole lot that you have to do with them. So you can use a skewer, you can use a straw, because you can tighten it up and roll it more later. And now we're going to go to the side on this one. So I'm just going to judge just about where I want that. I'm not gluing this in the middle now, guys, just on this edge. So I'm just going to put a dot of glue there. I'm just going to stick it. And that's going to allow me to be able to work my paper and bring this around. And then figure out where you want to stick this one. And bring that around. And now you can see that those two didn't quite meet. And that's great, because that's where we want to put the next one. Got mine a little tight. You can loosen them up just a little bit when as you're working with them. And now I'm going to start to just roll the top and then pinch it. We're starting to open up just a little bit more on there, okay? This one I go to the bottom. And just stick it on there. And you can fold and tuck this bottom if you need to, just to keep it flat. Totally up to you. And I'm not going to glue this. Oh, yeah, I think I am. No, I'm not. I think I'm going to leave that one loose and glue this side. Have more to work with over here. Dropped it. just kind of working with the inside. Of course, like I said, you can go back and come in here and start working and bending these back to get the look that you want on the insides. Okay. Oops. I didn't get quite enough glue on that one. It pulled loose. And I'm leaving this one out just a little bit because I'm starting to open up my petals here. I think I'll go with a medium. Go on this side. Yeah. Figure out how I want it. I got that little S and I'm just going to curl back right here. I think I'm just going to curl one side. There we go. I like using the wet glue because I have a longer work time than just sticking these, and that's why I like the wet glue, because you can maneuver your petals around and get them like looking like you want them to before they're actually stuck to the flower itself. You have a little bit more playtime. That's what the word I'm looking for, a little more playtime. Just kind of working that circle in there. Is everybody with me? I know it's looking kind of funky now, but like I said, use the wet glue. You have more work time because you can get it to look like you want. So now I'm just going to do a couple more and then we'll add our leaves. Like I said, you can stop at any point you want to stop at and add more leaves or not. That's up to you. And I'm kind of rolling this one to a V and then pressing this back. I want to kind of keep that into a V back there. Almost like from the side, it's almost like a paper airplane. If that makes sense. Give it a little pinch to get that shape for that outer leaves, or petals, I should say, not leaves. I may want to tuck that one in. That bottom is wanting to give me a hard time right there. I'm just going to push it down. It doesn't want to give. There we go. Get my curl back in there. I think my glue gun may have come unplugged. I think that's what my problem is with my glue gun. It doesn't feel like it's hot enough. That's exactly what's going on. It came unplugged. Give me just 1 second, guys, while it's still hot. Hopefully. Won't take it long. I'm going to throw a little wet glue on this one since that is just not going to stick right now. I'm just going to pull it over. Oh, thank you, Jara. Appreciate it. Not bad for copy paper and a little bit of ink, guys. If you got ink in your printers and you have copy paper, super simple, super easy to do. They make great practice. You can make them as small or as large as you want. You can increase the size of your circles. Just going to hold that. And again, if you use the wet glue instead of the hot glue, you can still work with it and loosen up your petals and roll them. Don't worry about them bending. It's copy paper. You can roll it back out. You can go back in and work with them and roll them. And it kind of, what it does to this copy paper is it kind of softens it up and makes it look like handmade paper, if that makes sense to any of you guys. If I don't know if some of you may not have seen handmade paper before, but that's the way that it looks. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Actually, if I were not pressed for time and using wet glue, I would probably put 3 more petals on there and call it a day. But we're getting up on an hour and I don't want to keep taking too much time. So then you're going to take your calyx, I guess that's how you say it, calyx of your flower, and you're just going to bring in a couple of your leaves, and you can curl these guys if you want to. Totally up to you. If you want to add any curl to those, you can do that just in different ways. I'm just going to kind of place it right up on there. And you can use the darks or the lights, however you want your rose petals to look. I kind of like that one. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a curl. That curl going on there. I'm just going to stick that down. And with copy paper, your glue dries pretty quick. Okay? And then I'm just going to kind of flatten that down. Yeah, it needs a couple more petals. Make sure you put enough petals on yours. I'm just going to glue that on there. I'll go back and add a couple. I can still sneak them in there. And then you're just going to glue it right onto the top of your box. Right on top. And I'll go in, and I'm going to keep working on mine. But you can see, all you got to do is play with it and work with it. You'll get there. It just takes a little bit of time playing with it and working with those petals. And again, you can go in and you can add more petals. I can even still go in here and add. All you have to do is, if you need to go back in and add and you can't get them to sit like you want, simply snip off the bottom so that you can get it in there. Does that make sense? But keep playing with your petals and working with them. Guys, you see that I didn't really use but one tool, maybe two, you know, to get a tighter roll maybe on something. You might want to go with your little weeding tool and get that tighter roll on a petal. And you can do that as well. I wished I hadn't run out of time. If OBS hadn't crashed, we could have gotten more petals on this guy. But you guys get the drift. It's the same thing all the way around. You're just going to keep working around until you get your flower looking the size that you want, like you want. That's all there is to it. And you're just going to keep, I forgot to mention it before I didn't stick it all the way. As you're working these extra petals, keep working towards the center, and that's going to give you that open. And that's what you're doing. After you've got that center built, you're going to keep kind of coming lower to, or more to the center when you're gluing towards the bottom, so that when you get those last ones on, you're basically not going to see a hole at the bottom, if that makes any sense. I don't want mine to stick all the way because I want to finish working on it. So just keep working it. You'll get there. Super easy. Audrey, practice with, before you, and I think I mentioned this on the thing. Before you guys print your paper, cut the file out of just plain white copy paper and practice with your rose. Because who doesn't like a white rose? If you don't have any ink, you can still cut this out of copy paper. A white rose would be beautiful. So, even if you want to do that, you can. And then on this one, guys, you can see the dewdrops on there. As a matter of fact, I forgot to show you guys how I did my calyx on this one. I've already stuck it. Maybe I can get it off. I can't. On this piece, I forgot a step. We're going to pretend that this is that piece. And what I did is I just went in and I snipped about 3 places on it, on each of the 4 leaves. And then I twisted these. Kind of dampen your fingers a little if you need to. And just kind of twist that. You see how that looks? And that's what I did on all 4 of the petals of the calyx. And that's going to give it this look here. You see how I did that? Right here. That's going to give you that realistic look on that flower. So make sure you do that. Don't miss that step. I almost missed it there. Okay? Does everybody understand what I did there? And all I did was just take and just snip. We're just going to pretend that I haven't done that on this yet. But you're just going to go in and just snip a little area. Or 2. Or 3. Depending on what you want. I think you can get 2 out of this one comfortably. And then you're just going to dampen your finger and you're going to twist that. Okay. I held it too high. I'm sorry, guys. I'll do another one. Like here. Let's see if I can get it to focus. That's the piece with the hole in it. Okay? And I just snipped and twisted it. That's all we did. Just gonna snip it and twist it. And then curl your petal. Is that better? Did that get it? And that's for this piece here that I glued my leaves to. Then you want to glue your leaves on. After you've done that to that piece, then put your leaves on. Then put your flower on top of that. And you're good to go. So I'm going to pull mine off and I'm going to reprint mine and redo that. Because I don't like it that way. I like that realistic look. Okay. Anybody have any questions? Any design space questions? Anything that we can cover for you guys? So just play with your copy paper and work with them. Again, I prefer the wet glue. It's up to you. Work with the copy papers and see how you like them. I probably won't be able to get this apart because I used that hot glue. But you can work them, and you can go in there and you can stretch that copy paper out a little bit. If you've printed it, I would not do any misting on there because your inks will run unless you're looking for that look. Okay. The dewdrops, Patty, I use liquid glass from Close to My Heart. And all you're going to do is just put, you don't want to overdo it, but you're just going to put a couple of drops, and they go on like that, and then they're going to dry crystal clear. Okay? And you can see that that's what I've done here. I put a couple here, a small one there, and then I put a couple on the leaves over there. You don't want to do too many because then it doesn't look realistic. It looks overdone. So use those sparingly, but they look good. If you don't have these, you can get these on my link at closetomyheart.com, or you can go on scrapbook.com or Amazon and get the Nouveau. I think it's called Morning Dew. I think that's the color, and they're clear as well. So but this is the Close to My Heart. Okay? And this stuff goes a long way, guys. Lasts forever. If you don't have that, if you have glossy accents, you can use that too. There are several things. Use what you have. I know times are lean right now with everybody with the COVID virus. So that's what we're trying to do. Use what we have and find some shortcuts and still get pretty looking things for everybody. Don't forget, guys, if supporters only, you have a drawing for the Cricket Cutie sunflowers coming up Wednesday. So, speaking of sunflower, we might do a sunflower on Wednesday. I don't know. So if anybody has any ideas, anything you want to do, let me know. And again, thank you to Jamie for asking for this file. If you see something, you want something, guys, message me, let me know. We'll figure out a way to make it. You guys have a wonderful week. See you on Wednesday. Thank you, supporters and moderators.